Well, our streak continues. For a second, I thought we were going to be able to make it one full week without the mainstream media tying a perceived racial issue into the NFL. But our brother, Stephen A. Smith, he came through in the clutch for us to ensure the streak continued. We are 8 going on 9 weeks into the NFL season. Every week, the media is linking woke boner words to the league, whether it's mythical misogyny. Hell, they got mad at Al Michaels for complimenting and promoting Taylor Swift. They claimed the situation with Tua was a classic case of mythical racism. All those evil white people watching black men tackle each other, it's just too painful. I can't stand to see millionaire brothers get violent with each other. Yeah. You shouldn't be worried about the millionaires. If you were really concerned about violence in the black community, you'd be highlighting the problems in Chicago, New Orleans, or any other major city being run by shitfucks. I'm not going to call the story that I'm about to share with you guys another case of mythical racism. That is not what this is. But Stephen A. Smith is playing on this perceived notion, this stereotype, if you will, that black people are not given opportunities to own an NFL franchise. Brother Stephen, he also believes if we had black ownership in the NFL, it would miraculously solve all of these media-created problems, all these mythical problems. Well, KC, what problems? This league is printing money. Come on, guys. You know exactly what problems I'm talking about. The lack of black quarterbacks, even though 4 of the highest paid players in the league are black quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is the highest paid player in the NFL, which immediately causes woke boners to become flaccid. Shitfucks cannot stand Aaron Rodgers because he doesn't bend over and take the cucumber. They don't like that he has the audacity to speak his mind. They damn sure didn't approve when he rejected a round of Fauci fucking. They can't understand why a normal person wouldn't want to practice the art of woke love with a lizard. As you guys know, the mainstream media has been pushing the NFL to become more diverse, more inclusive, more equity. Ooh, the woke trifecta. The lack of black general managers, even though 16% of NFL general managers identify as black. The lack of black executives, even though 7 NFL teams have black executives. One of which is the Washington Redskins, the center of this entire discussion. As you can see, the NFL obviously has a diversity problem, right? According to Stephen A. Smith, there's not enough black representation in the NFL, especially in a city like Washington, D.C., which he describes as a chocolate city. Chocolate city. Where have I heard that term before? Oh, former New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin, right before his ass went to prison. It was announced earlier this morning that Dan Snyder was looking to sell the Washington Redskins. KC, you're not allowed to use that term anymore. It's offensive to woke white people. The team is now properly called the Washington Commanders. Dan Snyder, he should have been forced to sell this team after coming up with that ridiculous name. If you were looking for a military-type name, couldn't you go with something like Generals? Hell, even the Washington Privates would be better than the Commanders. It's like Cleveland and Washington were in competition to see who could come up with the worst name. But anyway, this announcement was made while Woke Take was on the air this morning. This right here, this is the reason I say Stephen A. Smith is worth the money ESPN's paying him. He was off Monday and Tuesday dealing with the COVID. Anthony Fauci stayed with Stephen A. Smith this past weekend. It was an exhausting Halloween weekend for him. They both dressed as pirates hunting for booty. Stephen A. rocked the eye patch. Fauci was flaunting the mask. Here we are, 3-4 days later? Stephen A. still hadn't fully recovered, but he managed to work up enough energy to make it on Woke Take this morning. All kidding aside, glad he's feeling better. But this is the reason he's worth the money. Monday, Tuesday of this week, ESPN had replacements on Woke Take. 0 headlines were generated. The first morning Stephen A. Smith returns, I'm getting emails from you guys. My news feed's filled with articles about him. Even though I rarely agree with Stephen A. Smith, I can admire his ability to generate interest, generate headlines. With Dan Snyder possibly selling the franchise, Stephen A. believes the time is now for a black man to finally own an NFL team. It's far past time we had representation in ownership positions. Watch for yourself.
But I'm talking about a majority owner of a National Football League franchise that happens to be a black person. That would be nice. One of the things that we have discussed and lamented throughout recent history is the lack of representation, the lack of diversity when it comes to the ownership group. Maybe if there were black owners, more issues would be addressed more poignantly, more transparency would exist. Obviously, more coaches would be of African American descent and beyond. And so I think I look at this as an opportunity to ingratiate an African American into the proceedings. You have a guy like Jay-Z with Beyonce, and Lord knows how much money they're worth. There are enough black folks with deep pockets who would love to be a part of the cash cow that is the National Football League. And this is an opportunity for them to do it, because what everybody needs to understand and be reminded of, you can have all the money in the world and the National Football League meeting the Board of Governors, its ownership group. They still don't have to let you in. They can still keep you out. What we're saying is it's far time that they let African Americans in. And this is a perfect opportunity to do that in the nation's capital. I know it's outside, it's off 495, FedEx Field, and all of that other stuff. But when you talk about Washington, D.C., you talk about Chocolate City.
All right, a couple of things to break down here. Let's start with black ownership. One black owner fixing all these mythical problems in the NFL. One of the biggest complaints in the media is the lack of black head coaches in the league. According to the same media, though, black general managers are failing black head coaches. So I'm confused as to how having one black owner in the NFL is suddenly going to solve a problem that black general managers don't seem to think exists. Now, I understand why Stephen A. wants to see black ownership in the NFL. I understand why he would think it's going to solve these problems his butt buddies in the media create. But just think about this scenario logically for 1 second. Let's say me and you, we're going to buy the Washington Privates. According to Forbes, the franchise is worth $5.6 billion. So we just spent nearly $6 billion on a football team. When we walk into the office the first day, what is one of the first things that you and I are going to do? You're going to develop a culture based on your own personality, based on your own likes and dislikes. You'll want to develop a culture that's going to win football games. When you're spending billions of dollars, you want the fastest return possible on your investment. When you're developing that culture, do you really give a fuck about the race of the people that you're hiring? Take the quarterback position, for example. Do you give a shit if your quarterback is white or black? Patrick Mahomes, black dude. I'll take him in New Orleans today over Andy Dalton. Not because he represents diversity. Patrick Mahomes wins football games. I'll take Mike Tomlin over Dennis Allen. Mike Tomlin, proven winner. Dennis Allen, proven failure at head coach. Like I said before, the only color business cares about is green. The only people that see black and white are in the mainstream media. Stephen A. Smith, he mentions NFL owners having to approve new ownership. He vaguely insinuates, very, very vaguely insinuates, that potential black owners are being left out. They're not given the opportunity. He mentioned in that clip that he's talking about a team with a majority black owner. Again, let's think about this logically. In order to own an NFL team, you need billions of dollars. Having a net worth of $800 million, you ain't coming close. As of September 2021, there are 724 billionaires in America. 7 of those are black. As of February 2022, there are 2,755 billionaires in the world. 15 are black. 15. Now, of those 7 in America, of those 15, how many of those do you think are willing to purchase an NFL team? You have 717 options, whether they're white or another race. You have 7 options that are black. If we're thinking logically, it starts to make sense. The lack of black ownership in the NFL, this is not an issue of diversity. It's a combination of teams rarely being sold and the lack of black billionaires. I understand someone like a Jay-Z can form a group and purchase a team, but we're talking about majority ownership here, majority black ownership like Michael Jordan in the NBA. Speaking of the NBA, how come we don't see this same energy from the media with ownership in other sports? How come these mythical racial problems they create only pertain to the NFL? The NBA is almost 75% black. White players only make up 16% of the league. Michael Jordan, only black majority owner in the NBA. There are some minority owners, Grant Hill in Atlanta, Shaq in Sacramento, but Michael Jordan, only one with complete control. Matter of fact, Michael Jordan is the only majority black owner of a team in any sports league in the country. How come we don't see this same energy with the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NHL, Major League Soccer? If the mainstream media truly cares about diversity, how come the ownership issue is only brought up with the NFL? They don't bring it up with Major League Baseball. They don't bring it up with the NBA because it doesn't fit their narrative. According to the mainstream media, the NFL, only league in the country that utilizes slave labor. The media views NFL players as victims. Patrick Mahomes, victim. Lamar Jackson, victim. Evil white owner refusing to pay him. LeBron James, visionary, entrepreneur, leader of the shitfuck community. Just last week, we talked about that article in the Associated Press, the AP complaining about no American-born black players in the World Series. Not one time in that entire article did I see a complaint about lack of black ownership in Major League Baseball. There are 2 black managers in Major League Baseball, Dusty Baker, Dave Roberts. Only 1 black executive, Kenny Williams. So it seems to me the NFL's actually more diverse than Major League Baseball. Strange. I never see that comparison in the media. You would think with a black manager in the World Series, the media would be celebrating. Instead, they are complaining about the lack of American-born black players. Not lack of black players, lack of American black players. Every team in the NFL could be minority-owned, black-owned. Every player in the league could be black. The media then would complain about the lack of black janitors. There's too many white men filling the soap dispenser. Let me know what you think. Stephen A. Smith, pushing for black ownership in the NFL. I think it would be nice if it happened. I just don't know if it's financially possible. I know for damn sure a black NFL owner is not solving these media-created problems. Give me your thoughts on it. Give me your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.